Thank you for joining today's webinar, where we'll be looking into some of the functions that Smoobu has to offer and ways that the software can help you simplify your vacation rental management. So, my name is Yaka. I work in sales here in Smoobu. I help our clients onboard their listings into the system and make the onboarding process as smooth as possible. In the end of this presentation, you'll also find a QR code. We'll also send you a link in our follow-up email. So do feel free to book an onboarding call where we can look more into the specifics of your property. So let's start with the topics that we'll be covering today. We will start with some of Smoobu's core features, followed by some of our more advanced features. Firstly, we'll start with a quick presentation for all of you who are completely new to the system, and then we'll also do a short demo so you can get more of a real feel. And lastly, we'll also have a Q&A session if you have any questions for us. So first, let's start with a quick introduction on what is Smoobu. Smoobu has been founded in 2014, and it was created by actual hosts who understood the first-hand challenges of managing a vacation rental business. What has started as real need has now evolved into an all-in-one platform that helps our clients centralize their calendars with guest communication and any other day-to-day operations. Currently, we help thousands of hospitality professionals all around the globe. We work in nearly 120 countries. We're based here in Berlin, in Germany, but we do work globally. So let's have a look at some of our core features. And here, of course, we'll have to start with the channel manager. The channel manager is Smoobu's most essential feature that will allow you to connect to various booking platforms. We have API connections with multiple leading platforms such as Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, Agoda, Home2Go, Trip.com. So you have a lot of options to boost your online visibility and generate more bookings. Why choose Smoobu's channel manager? Firstly, and most importantly, it will help you to avoid any risk of overbookings. Smoobu will take care of the synchronization of the channels for you and automatically update all of your calendars. This will reduce manual work for you, and you'll be able to synchronize all of your platforms from one unified place. So not only booking platforms, but also direct bookings and any blocked periods and any other changes you make to the calendar. We'll also help you with customizing your pricing. If you would like to have different rates across channels, you'll be able to use our percentage adjustment feature, which will allow you to differentiate the price from one OTA to another. Now let's have a look at our centralized calendar. Here on your right-hand side, you can see how the calendar looks like. We'll also have a closer look into everything in the demo portion of today's webinar. With our centralized calendar, you'll be able to centralize all of your OTA bookings, but not only those. You'll also be able to centralize your direct bookings, your website bookings, blocked periods. It's going to give you a greater overview over your business, and you'll be able to manage everything from one unified platform. Next, we'll have a look into one of our most commonly used features, which is the guest communication. Here, you'll be able to set up automated templates for all parts of your guest's stay. You'll be able to set up pre-check-in instructions, post-checkout follow-ups, and the system will personalize everything for you and allow you to send out standardized and consistent communication across all of your channels, but not only for the channels. If you have a direct booking or if you enter anything manually into the system, all you'll need is a email address. Now let's have a look at our pricing management system with dynamic pricing. Smoobu does offer a in-house dynamic pricing tool that can help you generate more bookings, optimize your revenue and occupancy. This can help you stay on top of demands on the market and will reduce manual work. So you won't need to change your rates every other day, but the system would rather just update them for you twice per day. The system works on premises of minimum and maximum rates. You'll have to insert those alongside with your property's location, the property details, amenities, and the layout of the property. The more you're specific here, the easier it will be for the system to compare you only to properties that are similar to yours and also provide the most competitive rate. Next, we'll look into some of our advanced features, and all of them will also cover in today's demo in more detail. First, we'll have a look at the website builder and the booking engine. With our website builder, you'll be able to create a direct booking website with an automatically integrated booking engine, which means that your guests will also be able to process the booking completely online. And if you wish, you can also integrate a payment gateway. We'll look into those in a moment. This can significantly reduce your dependency on the OTAs and also gives you an opportunity to start generating commission-free bookings. Both the website builder and the booking engine are completely commission-free. With the booking engine, if you already have an existing website, you'll be able to change that website into a direct booking portal. The booking engine is automatically connected to your Smoobu calendar, which also means that it's connected to all of the booking channels. It has all of your direct bookings, so all of your guests will be able to review availability in real time. And this can significantly reduce the need for them to reach out to you and go back and forth on any kind of questions regarding availability. Next, we have our tools for your team management and permissions. If you have multiple properties with multiple users that need access to our system, you'll be able to create tailor-made accounts for them. In this way, you'll be able to decide which parts of the system you'd like them to see. For example, if it's a maintenance worker or a housekeeper, you'll be able to remove certain parts of the system and they'll only see whatever is relevant for them. If you have multiple properties, you'll also be able to make bundles of properties, so to say. So, for example, if you have a few housekeepers that take care of certain properties, you'll be able to remove all the rest. This feature is especially useful for property managers or co-hosts and hosts working with cleaning teams, assistants, or external collaborators. Next, we'll have a look into one of our most popular features, which is the guest guide and the online check-in. With our digital guest guide, you can inform your guests about everything they need to know about their stay. So they can simply just have it on their phones at all times, which can also reduce the need to go back and forth with your clients. You can include all of your house rules, available amenities at the property, any property specifics you need to share with them, but also any frequently asked questions so that you can really simplify the guest stay and make them more independent. The guest guide will also give you an option to sell additional items if you provide any at the property. For example, if you sell a bottle of wine or an early check-in, you can include those in the guest guide and they will be able to purchase those items even before they arrive at the property. And those are also, of course, commission-free. Next, we also have our online check-in. In case you need to gather any data on your clients, you'll be able to collect it directly through the system. You'll just select the criteria you need from them, and all of this will be sent via an automated message. The same goes for the guest guide. And in this case, the guest will just fill them out and you will receive them in the booking details of the client. And lastly, we'll have a look into our integrated partnerships. We do have a wide variety of third-party providers that cover a wide range of solutions, such as guest registration, automated check-ins, smart locks, housekeeping management, payment solutions, electronic invoicing, and more. The most popular ones that are currently being used by a lot of our clients are checkin.com, Trips, Stripe, PayPal, and the dynamic pricing solutions. With this, we'll have a look into the system itself. So here we have our centralized calendar. Immediately, you can see that the system will let you know where the booking is coming from. It's going to be marked with a color and a symbol, giving you a better overview of your booking sources. And you also have two options when it comes to the layout of the calendar. You can either have it in a single view or in a multi-view. Let me show you how the single view looks. So here, instead of reviewing all of your properties at once, you'll be able to see them one by one. You can simply switch between them here, and you're also able to customize it to your preference. Now we'll have a look into some tools that can help you streamline your operations. So this is a very popular feature we have here, our guest guide. The main idea here is to simply eliminate the need to communicate with your clients while they have everything on their phones at all times. We have some built-in features over here, or you can, of course, build your own content as well. This is how the guest guide looks like. It generated it for one of my test bookings. So here on top, you can see the built-in features like the online check-in, the option for your guests to book their next stay, messages, luggage storage, additional items that can be purchased. But then we also have features that are property specific. So your guest can simply click on whatever interests them and they will receive the information here. This can definitely reduce the need for them to reach out with questions like Wi-Fi, parking. As you go along, you'll see which questions are most common, and then you can always add them into the guide later on. Let's have a quick look at the online check-in as well. Here you'll be able to select the criteria that's required, the data that you need to, for example, report to your local authorities, or if you simply just want to collect data on your clients. You'll be able to select everything here, and this will then be sent with an automated message. Once the guest receives the form, they'll fill it out and send it back to you so you can export it from the booking details. For example, if you would also need a government issued ID or a scan of a government issued ID, you can request an attachment and they'll provide it in their follow-up. Since we're on the topic of guest communication, let's have a look at how the online check-in and the guest guide are sent out. This doesn't apply just for those two features. You can have unlimited templates for any point of the guest stay. For the purpose of this presentation, I'll choose the online check-in here. So on your right-hand side, you'll find a list of placeholders. That's basically the automation bit. Whenever you insert a placeholder in the body of the message, it will personalize the message based on the booking details of the client. For example, here we have the link to the online check-in. So the guest would just need to click over here and they'll be taken to a separate page while they fill out the form. Once you have the message set up, all that's left is to decide when you want it to be sent out. Since this is an online check-in, we will set up a schedule that is to be sent one day before arrival at, let's say, 9. And you also have an additional trigger here in case you get a same day booking or if the trigger is in the past. you can add this here, so the message will be sent regardless. On that note, let's have a look at our tools for your teammates. Here I created an example account. Right away, you can see that this account does not have access to all of the properties that are in my system, but just the four over here. You can then decide which parts of the system you want them to see. The user will simply receive a link, and after they confirm the connection, all that's left to do is reset their password, and they'll have their own account, which in this case, it's a read-only account. Read-only accounts are also unlimited. You can build as many as you like. Now let's have a look at some of our more advanced features. We'll start with the website builder, followed by our booking engine. With Smoobu, you can build a website completely from scratch. You can also upload your own domain. However, we do provide a domain with each account, but it is a numerical domain. So if you would like to upload your own instead, you'll simply upload it here and it will overtake ours. The same goes for the booking engine, which can be integrated into any external website. It's very straightforward. All you'll need is the code here. If you'd like to exclude some of the properties, you can also generate a new code and it will automatically pop up here. Before we move on, we can also have a quick look at some of the payment providers, payment methods that are available here. If you would like your guests to pay everything online, or if you prefer, the default option is always invoice or pay upon arrival. So to show you more how the websites look, I have some websites here that were built by our clients and they were willing to publicly share them. You can access all this information in our help center. We have a bunch of articles that cover all of our features. So you can take a look there to get more info on any of our features. Here we have one website where the client has multiple rooms and studios. And here you can also add some specifics. You can also add videos, guest testimonials, and so on. And this is also a Smoobu made website, which can show you real-time availability and also process the payment completely online. On the other hand, here we have an example of a website that was not built with us, but rather externally. However, they still do use our booking engine. You can find the booking engine here. So you see everything in this website has basically nothing to do with Smoobu except for this part here. This is our classic booking engine. You'll also be able to modify it to the style of your website. And if we try to make a booking, it will only show you properties that are available. Here we can have a look at how the checkout page looks like. So the client will need to provide all this information in order to finalize the booking. And I see that this specific client is also using a credit card as their payment method, which most likely means that they're using one of our payment gateways. We can have a look at those as well in our marketplace. So here are our providers, but the marketplace is quite extensive. So if you would like to focus on any of the specific providers that we have available here, we can start with the Q&A for any questions you might have. So we did have some questions prepared already from before. From our sign up form, we can cover those first. The first question we got from the sign up form is there a simulation mode where you can try out the features using a fictional holiday rental? So yes, we do offer a 14-day free trial. In the trial, you will have access to all of our features. And you can use all of our features even without connecting them to any booking platform. So, for example, you can test out our website builder, communication center, and everything else in the 14 days. If you'll need a couple days more, we're always happy to extend as well. Then another question was if different accommodations can be grouped together. They can. I can also show you an example here. So here in my calendar, you'll see that I have one parent unit, which is connected to two child units. Let's say that this is a house and the house has two apartments. So here you give an option to your clients to book either the whole house or one of the apartments individually. This is then all synchronized to your booking platforms. And you see the book Patricia's booking over here automatically blocked the other two units. The next question from the form was if what languages do we support? So you can find support in Smoobu in English, German, Italian, French, and Spanish. And all of our channels are available through those languages. So you can always reach out via our ticketing system by scheduling a call or through our chat service. And we're available in all those languages. So I see here some other questions as well. Does the guest guide automatically translate into the guest language? Yes, it can. So if you go to the guest guide over here, you are able to add languages and content. And the same goes for our communication center. When you're creating your templates, you can always add additional languages. But the guest guide itself here, so just the form, it's going to follow the browser. So if your browser is in a certain language, it will automatically pick up that language. So another question was for more details into dynamic pricing. Let's have a look here. So with dynamic pricing, it's actually very straightforward. All you'll need to do is upload your minimum and maximum rates, and the system will then fluctuate between those two based on the market. There's not much that I can really show you in the system. Once you upload your dynamic pricing, it will just overtake your pricing in Smoobu, and it's always fluctuating between those two based on demand. We really always recommend that you are as specific as possible with all the details when you're setting up the system. So it could be very simple stuff like a water kettle or some other amenities that are available in your apartment. But the more you're specific, the easier it will be for the system to compare to properties that are similar to yours. Then we have another question. Can you explain payment gateways? Are payments per booking or grouped per week month? So that's actually up to you. First, let's have a closer look into the payment gateways that we do offer. Here we have PayPal, Stripe, Weekly, Charge Automation, and usually you can decide how you want the payments to go through. So here for your booking engine and for your website or for the gas guide, you can always set up the prepayment, but usually every booking is then paid individually rather than grouped in a weekly or monthly fashion. Is it possible to connect the guest center to the guest if he has booked via booking.com or other OTAs? So in this case, I believe you're referring to the guest guide. And yes, the guest guide can be sent into all the channels. There's no restrictions there. We actually have agreements with our partner OTAs, so you can send it to absolutely all of your clients, and there's no sorts of restrictions there. Maybe one more quick thing about the guest guide that I forgot to mention before. So here in my demo account, I only put text, but if you have like a specific parking situation or any kind of requirement that's more visual, you can always also add videos and photos. For example, via automated messages, it could happen a lot that the portals would block some photos if they're not up to their requirements. With the guide, you have a nice way of getting around there, so you can send absolutely any visual content. And we have another question. Dynamic pricing is only possible for the most expensive plan, correct? No, actually, dynamic pricing is available in all of our plans. However, it is a separate service. So dynamic pricing comes at an additional cost of 12.99 euro per unit, but it's available in all of our plans. I also have to point out that we do offer a 30-day free trial. In this case, you can trial the system first with a Smoobu professional account. So if you're satisfied with the channel management, once the account is set to professional, you'll be able to activate the trial right away. So I believe we have some more questions from the form, from the registration form. We had a question about workflow set after a customer has booked and prepaid. So this is a good question. In case of direct bookings or website bookings, after you set up the prepayment here, as an example, let's say that the prepayment is 50%, so you'll need to collect the remaining 50% either at the time of arrival or a week before, 2 weeks before, however you want to schedule it. In this case, you'll set up an automated message, and the system will also provide a payment collection reminder for the remaining sum. Alrighty, then we had another question. Apart from the faster reservation synchronization to prevent double bookings, can everything else be managed through Airbnb? Well, you do have an option to turn off some of the things here. For example, if you go into our percentage adjustment, if you'd prefer to manage things independently on Airbnb, you can do so here. However, I would like to point out here that Airbnb does block some of the features once you connect to any channel manager, not just ourselves. So you'll have to ask directly to Airbnb which features exactly modify after you connect, but you should still have access to pretty much most of the system. Meanwhile, a lot of other platforms, for example, Booking.com, would have no changes to the Booking.com extranet after you set up your Smoobu connection. So another question was if the price is $12.99 once a year or per month. It's a monthly subscription and it's $12.99 per unit. So each unit would in this case be charged $12.99. If you would go into our long-term plans, you do have some additional discounts available. There's a 10% discount available on our annual plan and a 20% discount available on our biannual plan. And with that, I would ask if there's any final questions for today's webinar. So one more quick thing. If anybody would like to book an onboarding call, you can do so through this QR code over here, or we will also send a follow-up email where you will find a link to Calendly, which will show you my direct availability. So thank you so much for joining everyone, and I'm wishing you a great rest of the day. Thank you.